of these days we could use my GoPro.
True. Yeah.
I just haven't.
What would be the advantage of that?
I don't know. It's a GoPro. Better onboard microphone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe better camera.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. High def, you know.
High definition. Yes. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'll sit over here.
Yeah, we will. We'll get started shortly. People tend to trickle in slowly.
It's just so nice out, you know. I'm glad it's like not as cold as it's gonna be the next day or two yet. Because I was like, just a little bit of this like perfect weather. And then it'll be sunny and cool, but you know, still sunny.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be nice in the sun. The shade will be hateful.
Yes.
Yeah, this Wall Street, my backyard's been hitting like 90 degrees. I'm like, that's too much.
That's crazy.
Man, I'm so
That is-
confused.
The zoysia grass I put in the park is like 40–50% green now,
Yeah.
which is very exciting.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So it came back really quick. I was a bit worried for a bit because I was like, this is still brown. Is this supposed to be still brown? And it's just like,
Are we good?
yeah. But yeah, it's a work in progress.
It's good. How is planning? I'm sorry I wasn't able to make any of the gardening stuff that I have,
But you made it. You just weren't there at the same time as the rest of us.
There you go.
pre-work.
That counts.
It's going. I honestly got way less done on the garden beds this weekend than I was planning to because it was a bazillion degrees and humid on Saturday and then it was raining on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, but you know, we laid it all out. We made a plan of like what we have the wood for right now. So we're gonna build what we can. Probably I'll do most of the work next weekend. So next Saturday.
Okay. Hey, what's up?
Hello.
I'm gonna fill this up with some water for those who want tea. And we'll kick things off in just a second.
Cool.
You don't have to fill out the whole thing. I'm sure we already get you.
Yeah, we're gonna be kicking it off in just a minute. I'll be, okay.
What's up?
Hello, hello, how we going?
I got like a bunch of crimson clover from the Farm Alliance or Green Space, one of those. They dropped it off at my house because they like sent an email to the distribution list.
Yeah, yeah.
Giant quart bag of crimson clover seeds. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Do you know what kind of clover?
Crimson clover.
Oh, that's the.
Yeah, I think it's actually like kind of red.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a nice one. It's for like cover cropping mostly.
Yeah. It's nitrogen?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's like why it's used for cover cropping. So it's like a starter.
Yeah.
So, but there's land in the garden.
Deviled eggs.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
It's Easter, man.
That's a
Easter.
Happy Easter.
Also,
Yeah. Me too. I was like, why is everything closed? La Maison was open, and it was the only place to get coffee.
Yeah, it has honey and mustard and radishes on top.
Yeah, pretty good.
They're very mild.
Lucky.
I don't mind a not mild one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Yeah. That place is. I mean, it's Cafe de Leon, so of course. So.
Wow. You're out of control.
I usually get,
So good.
yeah, that's hot.
You should have access. You got it.
So good. So good.
Did you hunt for those? Is that part of Easter egg hunt?
Yeah. Yeah, I found it fresh yesterday.
Oh, okay.
In the alley, actually.
You
just cracked them open and it was already deviled inside.
No, I got some radishes from.
Over there.
Maybe radishes from it, I have no idea.
Radishes come in like right now.
Great.
Yeah.
They are
Or
great.
actually, they probably already went to see it, so.
If you're not doing anything on Saturday, this coming Saturday, assuming the weather's nice,
Yeah.
I'm gonna build the beds. I laid them out, but I didn't get it done when you saw me, because it was so hot, and we ran out of juice in the
All
slot.
right, everyone, thank you so much for coming out today. Really appreciate you all being here. My name is Emma Devine. I'm going to be facilitating our meeting today. So, welcome. I'm going to kick things off with a quick reminder of purpose. This is from our bylaws, just to kind of give us a reminder of what the community association is for, what our goals are, why we're here. So the Harwood Community Association is an independent resident-based group that provides an open forum for discussion and development of Harwood community issues and neighborhood improvement initiatives. The HCA's purpose is to strengthen the Harwood community by providing leadership, supporting and encouraging resident-led projects aimed at improving the community, providing resources, information, building partnerships, and promoting intergenerational collaboration to strengthen Harwood. Through these efforts, the HTA aspires to make Harwood a vibrant, safe, socially connected, green community in which all residents enjoy a high quality of life. So to start, just a quick announcement. Membership dues, if you are not cut off on your dues, which I imagine most people in this room are, but if you are not, or if you are and you would like to make a little extra donation, please feel free. It's still through PayPal. Right, yes, there's a QR code there that you can scan. It is quick, easy, and fun. Next on our agenda here, we are meant to have some guests, although it does not seem that any of them are here.
Probably jump over to Roberta.
Oh, perfect, amazing. Did not know that you were one of our guests.
Oh, yes, oh.
Incognito, okay, come on.
So we have,
Roberta.
usually we have a couple of the local police guys to give us an update, but they may get here soon. You're welcome to go ahead.
So we have Roberta Arias from DPW.
No, I'm sorry, no, this is not Roberta.
Oh my God.
This is Quentin.
Quentin, I'm so sorry, Quentin from Rails to Trails.
Hello everyone, Quentin. This is my third holiday. If y'all don't know, our office is right around the corner. You know, 2601 North Howard. And we're going around to pretty much all of the neighborhoods along from the east to west, really. We got put together a group of community leaders. They're called the Urban Equity Collective. And they've been doing research focused on equity development and really focusing on all of the major development projects that's happening in Baltimore, specifically from West Baltimore to East Baltimore, the major corridors. And we're just going around to all the neighborhood associations and giving out this survey. It comes with a flyer, it comes with a story map that pretty much outlines all the projects that we're looking at. And then we have a few questions that we ask. It's really based around just seeing how much residents know about all the projects that are happening. So this survey is going to be open until the end of the month. And we've had it open since the beginning of the year. So we're wrapping it up, getting some of our last assignments, and this is like our last time of push to see who else we could take. So I can leave the community up here as well, and we can prepare it when we're ready to time to use. But the map is really informational, and it's kind of something that we're trying to keep updated as a tool that can maybe be used by the city after we try to involve this information. So we're definitely going to follow back up with everyone with the results, and right now we're just trying to get out numbers. So that's how we got it.
Are there any projects you got coming up that we should know about? Anything exciting, developments, new trails?
We don't have any major updates right now. The last meeting we came to, that's when I pretty much put on the table that we'll be doubling back really soon because the Green Street Trail will be happening soon. So we are in the process now of figuring out when we're going to get that solid solid date that it's time for them to take that off. The funding is there, and the city is really just wrapping up the last bit of progress from the last quarter, getting ready to see how things are doing. So, it should be doing something really, really soon. But right now, we just finished up a 30% discount open house on March 17th for the chicken trail. So, they're actively connecting back to 101. So I'm pretty sure 30th Street is moving to the radar. We just got to get that confirmation that we're going to start this year. But she can something, she can help you with it. Yeah.
Where does that connect? 30th Street?
30th Street will connect from where it ends at John Hopkins. So that's, Henry, St. Paul, yeah. And, then that's gonna go all the way down 33rd and then, connect in the John Hopkins. That's what I'm waiting on, so we got the confirmation that design is getting ready to kick off, we just don't have anything to make sure. But we know it's happening soon, we just wanted to wrap up a few other projects first. Because we're kind of like in the midst of 3 segments happening at one time. So they're still, they're kicking off the Boston Street Connector again, and, local Southern is also about to be in its final phase of acquisition, so we're deciding to make sure all set. So there's actually a lot of momentum going, so we're trying to get the guidelines of which projects are first in phases. So that should be coming out.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank y'all for having me on again.
Trails, welcome, come on in, folks. So, don't believe that Isaac or any of our other guests are here this moment. So, do you want to just move into upcoming events?
Yeah, we can do that and see who shows up. Cherry Blossoms Walk, Mara, maybe you can clarify, because I've seen 2 different start and end times.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What's the official start and end time? 11 to 1 or 12 it says?
The flyer says 12 to 2, so we're I think the idea was to have it like after farmer's market time, but Willowtree's open till 2, so it's like the tail end of the.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think, yeah, so 12 to 2.
Good, okay, so that's next Saturday, 12 to 2, corner of 28th and Guilford, our 2nd annual Cherry Blossom Stroll, where we'll have
Yeah.
music and
Yeah.
treats and
Melissa
crafts.
Yeah, it's doing exactly, the cherry chocolate cookies and cherry soft serve, and some neighbors are putting together some like tissue crafts, so it's definitely family friendly. And we're hoping, to find somebody to play music again, we'll see.
You can stand around and sing too.
Yeah, awesome. And I actually won't be there, so Adam on our board is gonna be our board point person, which is awesome, thank you, Adam. And, if there are funds from the day from selling pink lemonade from the neighbors, we were thinking we could go to the garden. Since the garden is, a big project, it always could use a little bit more funds, and I know we're in the process of, the initial planting soon, right? In a couple, maybe it might even be the 18th or the 19th, right?
Okay, yeah, we don't know yet, but
I don't know yet, yeah.
I'll touch on that
So I
today.
think, yeah, we can talk about the garden, and it might be a good opportunity to get more volunteers or, you know, spread the word about that upcoming event, if it's confirmed by the elect.
We should.
Or, you know, we could say like, hey, this weekend.
Well, I, honestly, it's just watching
It's
the weather.
weather, yeah, exactly. So, and, that's an opportunity to like bring signs or signups too, if folks wanna sign up for the garden or sign up for the Harwood Community WhatsApp. So it's just an opportunity to like celebrate our cherry blossoms, but really, you know, gather in community, have some food together and get plugged into different committees around the neighborhood.
So much more. So there's also a annual fundraiser for the 29th Street Community Center on Friday, April 17th, 7 to 10 p.m. at Red Emma's. And this is what Mara and Isaac were just talking about, the community garden round 2 of spring planting. Isaac, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about that.
Yeah, so we did round 1 last Saturday. It went really well. We cleared out the veg, we did a lot of prep work. We'll be getting our seedlings in Monday, the 13th or thereabouts. And so we'll be meeting up probably that Saturday to put some greens and onions, bok choy, kale, collards all in the ground. And also doing some work over on is it the Dragon Garden now?
Yeah,
Dragon's
Dragon's
Garden.
Garden.
Dragon's Garden are, the extension on the other side of Greenmount. Yeah, so this is gonna be a good year. And that's, if folks wanna be added to the garden WhatsApp, I'm always happy to provide that information. I can share a link or a QR code with anybody that's interested.
Wait, what was that, April 17th again?
That's
The fundraiser for the 2019 Community Center at Red Grandma's, 7 to 10 p.m. And then the last event to kind of highlight is a city cleanup on Saturday, April 25th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I assume we're just meeting at the Harwood Community Garden and then cleaning up in the neighborhood. Is that, I don't know who's spearheading that effort?
Dizzy?
What day was that? I'm sorry, I
That's
spaced
okay.
out for a
The
second.
city cleanup.
Yeah, this is
April
city
25th.
cleanup, I'm doing that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's on my calendar, don't worry.
So what's the idea that like everyone's meeting up at the garden and
Yeah.
then spreading out to?
So this is just the biannual mayor's cleanup that I just set up at the garden, and I have trash pickers, trash bags, gloves, and I have a map of the neighborhood, and I'll tell you where someone didn't go, or you can just pick up around where my table is. But it's a thing that the neighbor does twice, the mayor does twice a year, and if you participate, I can give you a certificate that'll give you $10 off your DPW water bill if you live in the city. Yeah, come by. And what was the date for that again?
That is April 25th, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
That is correct.
I'm gonna run through those dates real quick one more time. Cherry Blossom Stroll on Saturday, the 11th. Fundraiser for the community center on April 17th. It's a Friday evening, community garden, planting round 2. Date TBD, likely April 18th or 19th, and then city cleanup on April 25th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So, you see that Officer Vivo has, joined us from DPD for some updates.
Sorry, folks, good evening.
Sergeant Vivo, I'm sorry.
Some of you might not know me, some might know me. I'm Sergeant Modesto Vivo. I'm your liaison for the Northern District with Baltimore City. Sorry for the lateness. One of the locations which is driving all the crime, even for the district, even for this location, it's 25 down in Greenmount. I just came from there. Every time that I go do a business check, I always get on view somebody trying to shop me. So I had to, stop this person across the street. He's a known repeated shoplifter. Last time I locked him up from 6301 York Road in 5815 and 35. Now he's down here. So I just did an investigative stop because it would take forever to get all the information. But I gotta speak to the manager. That way I'll go apply for more. The reason I'm saying this is the main problem is you have 20 shoplifting incidents in the past 28 days from March 8th to April 4th for that location. And then besides including, there was a robbery recently. The individual pulled out a knife, this was on the second, same location. So the person went to shoplift, this knife, threatened the clerk, took the stuff. So basically, there's been an ongoing problem. We have the arrest, but it's like, you arrest one, take one out again, then the next one come out, then you gotta apply to ID this person to try to figure out who this person is. And then when you get that person, then you get a person arrested, then that person stopped, then somebody else becomes, so it's basically like a musical chair. Yes, ma'am.
Because there's been so much heavy shoplifting, are other city services going to now pick up and target that area to like help people, with other resources, or is this just gonna be maintained?
So there's no service has been provided. But we did a list not too long ago, providing service to individuals in that area who have issues. The majority of them don't take. Provide them housing, medical, everything, whatever they need, the majority doesn't take. Or they say they're gonna take it and they don't do it. So that was the problem that we were running into, especially, On 26, I believe it's the, 400 block. You know, so there was like, I think it was like 4 individuals that were up in the porch, one of that, you know, living over, burning building.
Oh, that's 500 block.
Oh, 500,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry. You know, so they said we're gonna take the service and then I don't believe they did, so. Services are being provided, for your question as to this type of incident, no. You know, and, well, I have started seeing in the information I get from the community members are that they sell it to the store or they sell it to, other people. I mean, if we as a community decided to buy stolen goods, it's not gonna help because it's gonna keep driving up the crime. They just, keep relocating to different locations. Like I said, this whole group, I got so many of them. I got like the same group, just keep repeating different store in different location, like on Remington, on, St. Paul, Roy Farm, 7-Eleven, it's the same one. You know, Walgreens, the CVS, you know, it's the same crowd. So they just take the bus and people coming, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you know which stores are the ones that are like buying the stolen stuff? Cause it can be
So-
hard to tell, it's like, you know, a bag of Utz chips, it's gonna look the same to us if it's been stolen or not.
So one of there's a store, you know, within Green Mile that is keep coming up, you know, it's under investigation, so. There's all the small store that they keep saying that they are also buying it. You know, so this is basically from third-party information, so we cannot confirm that
Right,
it's
can't
actually,
verify.
you know. So continue on in reference to the crime. So you do have 3 robbery of commercial robbery of, Dollar General. Then you have another robbery, 2 robbery in Green Mile. One, there was a bike taken, and there was a person inside the store that was taken out. The person was beat up, and some property was taken from this individual. Also, you do have, I'm sorry, compared to last year, you only have 1 robbery. You have 1 aggravated assault, which was domestic. Compared to last year, there was 9. So violent crime, things are looking much better than it was last year. And, you have 1 burglary compared to last year, you have 1, so it's even. Like I said, the main problem is the larceny from auto and the shoplifting. You have 8 larceny from auto. Remember, this is 29 incidents for this community. 20 of those were shoplifted, 8 were larceny from auto, and the other one was the person who decided to, I don't know, how the person left the person on the sidewalk, decided to walk, and the person took the purse, left it on the table. That's about it. There's no stolen auto in the community. There's no rape, no shooting, no homicide, which is the most important. So we working really hard on this. We even, you know, putting cars there. We even have officers stay there. I even have 2 of my officers, you know, come in a van. One sits inside the store, the other one's way outside. So we are trying to see if we can abate this issue. Okay, any other question or anything you folks need me to look into?
Is there anything happening with the Peeping Tom?
Pippin Tom, I don't have anything on it, but, it's, you're talking about the other,
The guy who's been wearing the mask?
we don't have no update, but I thought you was talking about the other person that there is a warrant for. It was somebody else in another location,
Okay.
you know, so, yeah, so there's a, you know, there was an individual that was exposing himself.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
Yeah, so, but the one you're talking with the mask, you know,
Okay,
Yeah, I mean-
have it.
no.
Maybe they're different.
But that's why, like I said, you know, if, like, and I said, if there's any information you need to look into it. Cause the only information I will look into is for the past 28 days, so that way I don't come empty handed. You mean, hey, what happened last year, you know, July, whatever. You know, can you give me an update, you know, so those kind of stuff, or anything specific, reach out to Isaac, and Isaac will ask me. And I will then, you know, dig into it.
I know we had, I mentioned this in the text this morning, I know we had 2 car break-ins, one on Whit Ridge and I think one on 28th this week. I don't know if other, that's what I heard, that's what was reported on the local WhatsApp chat. There may have been other ones as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if they reported My one neighbor, they said they put in a report,
Yes,
so,
they did.
okay.
This is it, you know, that's what, like I say, this is weird, like, you know, we barely have any break into cars around here.
Yeah, it's been years since we had a serious
Yeah,
problem.
so this is like, you know, eight breaking into cars. You know, and folks, I'm looking, reference to that, to avoid that, please don't leave anything in the car, not even 25 cents or 5 cents, you know, because they would take that point, because there's a value to them, but then you end up getting a window broken, and it's gonna cost you over $200 or $300. Well, I don't know, today, everything's so expensive, so it used to be like $250 before a day. Now, yeah, so it's really expensive. So, yeah, so like I said, it's a incident, there's a Barkley, there's two of them, Rich, I believe,
Okay.
and in Chester, no, that's not, I'm sorry, that's not, recover, stolen water. And, another one in Barkley, another one on 28th Street. So there's.
All like within 2 nights or same night, you know?
So on Woodridge, different dates.
Okay.
So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay,
I know for the Whitridge one, the 2 houses across the street have ring cameras.
Sam,
Yeah, but
would you mind, do you know them or not?
I don't know, but I can.
It's-
If I see them, I think I know at least one of those people.
There's another thing, a lot of people doesn't like to, you know, provide information in regards to videos and stuff like that. I don't know if you know Ron from Charles Village.
Yeah.
Usually get it from the community, he send me the video, and that's how we end up identifying some people. Like, you know, one, there was a burglary, the other one is the person exposing themselves. So, okay.
You have a message from the chat that just says that CBCBD has briefed their safety patrol and they'll increase patrols in the area. Please try not to leave anything of value in your vehicles.
Yeah, please. All right, folks. Have a good night. Oh, I know you were mentioning this, some of the thing I was trying to figure out about you're doing the main cleanup on the 25th. So I'm trying to get like a different location instead of the same location for the prescription to take back, which is the 25th. So from 10 to 2 o'clock, I was trying to see if you had a, you know, location here that we could have done it within the community, but it's up to you.
I mean, you're welcome to use the garden for that.
Yeah, that'll just mean they'll overlap, that was just fine, honestly. What was your event again?
There's gonna be a prescription take back.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, I'll be out there early at like 8:30 setting up tables, and I'll have all my stuff, so I can help.
Which, this one?
The one on, Green Mountain Whitridge,
Is it,
with the arch, the colorful arch.
So there's no parking lot there with.
No, there's
No
not.
parking lot.
Basically, you gotta be like.
Oh, you need a parking lot space?
Like, yeah, like something that's accessible, you know, that they just drive through.
Got it.
There's the alley, but
Yeah, you could do the lots across the street, cause the road is wider on 27.
Yeah, other side, other
And
side.
there's a lot that
There's
you
like
could,
just vacant lots and.
yeah, you could pull up into the lot and people could come by that way.
27th is really wide. Yeah.
There is also, you could park on Greenmount, there's in between, it's in between like where Carrot Hands is, there's an empty lot that people hang out in that you could park next to. I guess that's doesn't have a.
I mean, easy location for the community, and basically also we need a community member to do us. One of the options. And, if
Let
we
me get back to you on a community member. that we
Okay.
can Designate for that.
Okay, so we are good to go with that?
That's
Is it
just one.
500 block, East 27?
Yeah.
So is it possible you have to create a flyer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna create a flyer as a whole, to send out to the whole, every community.
Yeah, we,
You have to create one for the community.
yeah, if you have any details on it.
Yeah, from 10 to 2.
10 to 2, prescription take back,
Yeah.
City of Baltimore Police Department.
Correct, so this is basically with the DA, they, you know, we just give to them we pick it up, they give us the boxes. So like today, I gotta send in my email, this is the two locations I have, you know, where we're gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, folks. Hope everybody had a wonderful Easter weekend, and were able to enjoy with the family, and was able to go to church. For those who go to church, so, you know. All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
It's the next month, I mean, to, the 25th.
Is he what was the date?
Say again?
What was the date?
The 25th.
Same as the cleanup.
Yeah, the cleanup's 9 to 1. I'm just matching it up with what the mayor put in his email.
And he wants to do
So-
10 to 2.
I don't see any other guests who've arrived, but
No.
we have some discussion items. First one is feeding our neighbors. It looks like Isaac and Ty, you guys are pointing.
I don't think Ty is here. Ty is he runs the community center, he's one of the people that runs it. They do every third Tuesday, they do a feeding our neighbors event. They do it here, people come, it's just a free dinner. They asked if we would be willing to help out. I think last time I raised this, we tentatively put up July as our date, since that's the month when we don't have a community association meeting. That would mean we would be helping out with serving, with bringing food, helping set up, helping break down. I'll have more details, but I just was gonna put that out there. If anybody is interested in being part of that process, we can make sure that you get involved. Always, can always use extra hands, and I'll put the word out, on the chat and by email as well for those who are interested.
I mean, that's just like a meal distribution, you can come by and.
Yeah, it's just a neighborhood meal.
Who buys the food?
I'm not sure, I'll have to double check.
Yeah.
But, they may do it and we just pick it up. I think it's pre-prepared.
It's
We're not
that's what I was
cooking
gonna
it,
ask.
yeah.
We don't have to cook it, okay.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
just like being there and distributing.
Yeah.
For July 21st, maybe, okay.
Next, there's a Hopkins Police update.
Yes, this came in today, so for those who don't know, Hopkins Police, is an ongoing issue that the community association has been working with. Essentially, the Hopkins Police had a memorandum of agreement with the Baltimore Police to be a full-fledged police force. The idea is that they would be providing public safety as part of their mandate. The problem is that it's Hopkins, they serve Hopkins, they're not accountable to the city, they're not accountable to the people in the community, they're accountable only to Hopkins. And as we know, Hopkins does what they want. I was contacted with a couple pieces of information, and if anybody wants to know more about the Hopkins Police issue and why the community association has consistently taken a stand against it, feel free to talk to me afterwards. But the civilian panel board president, who was here a couple months ago, who did not come prepared for questions, and when we asked what would you do differently to involve the community, did not have an answer. She will be stepping down. Her tenure was not renewed. We don't know who they're gonna appoint, but she will be leaving that position next month, I believe. So that's an update. A sort of frustratingly unresponsive person who also is not a member of the affected communities. And that was one of the requirements, is that person in that position has to be a member, a resident of a community that is within the jurisdiction, and she was a resident of a community next to the jurisdiction, which is, I know it's a semantic distinction on some levels, but it is also not a semantic distinction. If you are part of the community, you're part of the community. If you are outside of the jurisdiction, then you are not part of that community. And so hopefully the person who replaces her will be somebody from the community who is both receptive to and able to represent us when these issues are being resolved. There is also one of the council members, city council members, has put forth a measure to try to get a public hearing, because that's the other challenge, is every time we've tried to have a public hearing, Hopkins has managed to avoid a public hearing where they have to actually answer questions from the community. We're not getting the public hearing, we're getting a measure to request a public hearing. Because of the way in which their agreement is written, they have a lot of control over it, and so we essentially have to have the city council write a measure and pass it just for us to get a public hearing. But,
Per hearing?
yes.
That's insane anyways,
Yes.
sorry.
So, and I will try to make sure that I have the specific details of this in the minutes when I send it out, just because I know I may not be articulating this as precisely as I should, but it is in process. There are other things in process as well, so it's not gonna happen quickly, but there's at least now a greater possibility of a public hearing where Hopkins will have to answer questions from the community, which is something they have consistently avoided doing throughout the entire process of establishing this police force. The other thing I will say, if anybody wants to be involved, we can always use an extra person for our community to represent us when we have conversations about keeping these different processes moving. There are a couple different approaches that we're taking. We have a representative from the Community Law Center who is helping us work on ways to try to make sure that the Hopkins police are at the very least accountable. If they have to exist in any fashion, they at least need to be accountable. They don't need to have AR-15s in their cars or M4s or, they don't need assault rifles in the car, and they need to have some measure of accountability to the community rather than the president of Hopkins. Again, if there's questions or points of discussion, I'm happy to discuss after the meeting. But that's where that stands. We've gotten some positive news in that area, and so I'm glad I could share that with you.
Thanks, Isaac. Next Thursday, 26th, there's park update.
And MJ usually handles this. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight. 26ers Park is on the corner of Barclay and 26th Street. It's been a big issue. A lot of drug trafficking, violence, and disruption. It used to be a park that people in the neighborhood could go to. It is not anymore. People don't feel safe going there. We took out the bench and the little cupola that was covering the area. And there are repeated complaints. MJ lives right next to it, and it's horrible. There are people screaming at each other on a regular basis. She just said just today, she came out for the aftermath of somebody getting jumped, bleeding, injured. It's a really unpleasant situation. It's not the fault of the park. There are some issues with that part of 26th Street. We've been in communication with the city about trying to find resolution to help the people there, also to discourage the type of behavior that happens back there. We don't have a whole lot of tools or resources to do that, but we're continuing to work on it, trying to partner maybe with some of the assistance organizations on 25th Street who might be able to provide some services. But overall, we don't have a lot of options, but at the same time, this is a resident-oriented organization. We want to do what we can to make sure the residents here feel like they can live safe lives in their homes, because this is where we live. So we're going to keep working on that. I want to talk to you actually about possible small grants to get the fence repaired, but I'll talk to you afterwards. That's one of the, this just came up this afternoon, so I want to, but I know that Central Baltimore Partnership sometimes can provide some funds, so at least to get the fence repaired, because that might also help discourage people from using that particular public space as a drug and prostitution market.
Awesome, thanks, Isaac. Next we have a Harwood Park update from Laura.
Yeah, we had members of the board and Park and Recs had a call a couple of Mondays ago to share results from the community surveys and designs. Several other members from the community were there, like Kevin from CBCPD, Aiden, also from CBCPD, and who else was there? Was there anybody else from the community that we should?
Did Corey and Miller end up joining the call?
No, Corey Miller wanted to join, but weren't able to make it, but I think, there are several, like, I think, I'll just say that there are several eyes on this park, who wanna advocate to see it improve. Like, it was not,
also on the call too? Or you and Aaron were on the
oh,
call?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Aaron, I was like, I know there was another partner, I'm sorry. Central Bottom Partnership, and CBP was really on the call just to kind of understand where the conversation stands and see where they could potentially support, and it is not, we got confirmation that it's not in the CIP, which is the capital budget, that directs all of capital spending in the city, and usually you have to plan three years out to get on it. And so at this time, there's no funding to do in-house, so it's Rec and Parks owned, right? So if it was in the CIP, Rec and Parks would take the conceptual design and do an in-house design with one of their playground contractors. They work with 4 playground contractors. And at this point, because it's not in the CIP, they don't really have like, their response was they're not able to spend internal resources on that architectural construction design piece. And so I think figuring out what we actually can do is the next step. And one thing that I'm considering, that I shared in that follow-up email, is to reach out to one of the playground vendors that Parks and Recs contracts with. Like there's a local one called Playground Specialists, and to kind of independently see if we can get some estimates from them, and to understand what the ballpark cost might be. Councilman Ramos has also requested a ballpark estimate for the design upgrades, and the hope that with that we'll be able to continue to move forward with this, and advocate for it to be on the CIP in future years. Also with a rough idea of how much it would cost. Prices are always changing with contractors and materials. But it's like, you know, at least it doesn't just kind of sit on a shelf, you know? And then on the flip side, I think as they said that Rec and Parks is building out a master plan for how they're gonna update parks across the city. And knowing that there is community interest and support, capacity, and advocacy behind a park hopefully does matter. So just showing that we're still focused on this park, we still have support for its improvements, and we're even working with our Rec and Parks vendor and contractor, will hopefully encourage it to be on the CIP. But we can't do it alone, it'll take more conversations.
Is there, like, a means for us to be part of the fundraising process in terms of grant writing, given that Harwood is a 501c3 and?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So what happens when neighbors are like, hey, I wanna do my own thing on a Rec and Parks owned playground or a park? You have to sign a contract with Rec and Parks, and they consider it a donation agreement. So you absolutely can fundraise outside of the city's capital budget, and that's where folks like Central Baltimore Partnership potentially come in, or any other place-based organizations for a smaller project, like planters or updated signage. That's a really great next step, just to do some smaller scale improvements, around the perimeter that wouldn't then be lost if there were capital improvements down the line, and have that be a donation agreement with Rec and Parks.
Okay.
So I think pursuing like a small beautification and signage project, just to keep the momentum going and show that there's care and attention to this space.
Yeah.
And working with a Rec and Parks playground contractor, if they will, I hope they will, on getting a rough estimate are the next steps.
So previously, we had heard about kind of like the process for getting this done with the park and working with, Rec and Parks on it. My understanding was that we would present the plan to them, like you did, and then they would go in and see, like, does this bench that you guys want match up with the benches we normally put in the
Yeah.
parks, and then if it did, they could put it in. And so, it sounded like what you were saying with it not being in the capital budget, that meant that they could not do the like architecture design piece, but then could they
Yeah.
still like supply like benches and like
It's a-
do that?
it's a
like
good
when-
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little confused with that myself, and I think what's confusing is they've done some like preliminary basic repairs, like repairing the fence and repairing the rubber under the playground swings as like, because that's part of their like maintenance budget, which is, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
that's-
different than their capital budget.
That's
So
what I
I'm
don't understand
assuming-
too, is like, it's their park that they own, and it's not in their budget, and they're not like, shouldn't that be part of what they're responsible for, like,
I think
maintaining and
maintenance
keeping
is a
up?
separate, that's sort of like a yearly plan where they allocate certain amounts of money for the equipment, for anything that breaks, so that, like, in that case, they replace the rubber under the swings because it was disintegrating and it becomes a hazard for the kids.
And they're
And so they always
replacing,
have that money.
and I actually said they're not replacing the broken concrete, I still don't.
They're not
understand
replacing
what
it, they're just removing it,
They're
and putting
removing it
grass.
and putting grass, that, okay, great, that's what they said on the call, great, thank you. I just wanna make sure I'm not
Opposed to stones.
saying more,
and
so like they're
grass.
doing basic safety things. But if we want prettier, nicer things, like more grass and shade structures and stuff like that to really improve the park, that is not, they don't have funding in this capital budget next year to do that.
Oh, okay, I see.
What about when you enter the playground on Greenmount Avenue, and concrete is,
Yeah, that concrete, that's the one we're talking about that's gonna get removed. Yeah,
they can remove.
it will be removed, yeah, and they're gonna put grass there. You know what, you're talking about where the pit is?
And you gonna put grass where you
They'll fill
Yeah,
with dirt, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then put grass over.
yeah, you're talking about that little concrete pit where it's sinking, yeah, they're gonna replace that with, they're gonna take out the concrete and put in grass. But not all the concrete, just that one spot. Yeah, so the concrete path will still be there, but
Something that came up during that meeting was they want the stormwater credit, so they're not gonna take out all of the concrete right now. That would be part of the bigger project if we get the capital project, to take out like a lot of the asphalt that's over toward the 27th Street side. But yeah, they were pointing out like if they put in too much more concrete during the redesign, then they could lose the credit, and they can get
Right.
credits, I think it's a state credit, I think it's a federal credit, to remove that concrete, to make the ground more permeable, help with stormwater and stuff like that. But I think they'll leave a little strip of concrete there to Greenmount, the piece that's not falling down, they'll leave that, and they'll just take out the collapsing stuff. But we've been waiting a long time for them to do that.
well, also, from when I had that meeting with the Park and Recs people for the Dell, because they had all the friends group meet, one of the other things that we're gonna need to do is if you have to do an application for intent before, like, at some point too. It's like intent to apply for the grant. So it's like a pre-step to be like, we're pursuing this grant.
An LOI, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the LOI for? For the
It's
Dell?
just saying we're in, like, even before you're like, we got this money from CDP. to
Oh,
do
for the
this thing.
donation? Okay.
Yeah, you have to do an application to say you're intending to get.
So that
it's
it's
like
a long bureaucratic process, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One extra thing.
We can navigate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure we can, and it's like, you know, in the long, like, relatively, all these projects are usually five-ish years, so like, that's what it'll be. So if any of y'all are still here in like 5 years, you might see that park approved. But just remember, like, that is how long these things take.
We'll document so that we can tell the young folk.
Yeah, document it along the way, for sure, and all of that contributes to the advocacy and the fundraising to get it done.
Small piece of relevant information from the chat. I actually saw an email about this, but tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Red Emma's, there's a Central Baltimore Partnership Capital Grant Information Session that they're putting on. I believe Aaron's putting that on.
like the kids'
Yeah, that's true. Did you know about that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
2 a month, right?
Then I don't need to paraphrase.
No, 1 a month.
1 a month,
So, the one that Aaron is doing is around Spruce, Kramer, Action Fund. And then once we solidify Weaver, then it'll be about Weaver grants. So basically, it's the first Tuesday of each month, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. He'll be at Red Emma's. We talk about the grants. I believe he'll also be helping with like the process of like what your application should look like, what documents to include, what to write about those things to help with support. Just like Isaac had mentioned defense, that would be great for the Spruce Up project, Spruce Up grant, since it's a long-term beautification for the park, and also like incorporating signage if you would like. So, yes, that is that. I think that's about it.
Can anybody go tomorrow at 10?
And
I can,
I'll-
I mean,
I'll
like, can
phone-
I be here?
What?
I mean, like, can I
Oh.
be here?
I can't,
It's
unfortunately.
my office day, or else I'd go.
I'm gonna try and go. I'll try and go. Thank you.
So I also have on the agenda here a garden update. I don't know if you had anything else to add beyond what we already talked about.
No, I mean, I already mentioned it, the garden's going great, we're, you know, we had a really successful day on Saturday, and we will do lots of planting on the I'm gonna say tentatively the 18th, using the morning of the 19th as a rain date,
Is that a Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you. Next we have a planter walk update from Savannah.
And it might have been a whole order from last, but,
I think in our last meeting, we had talked about putting planters at 29th and Barclay, primarily along 29th Street, but, I walked by there and there are tree pits now, so, one of the things we sort of briefly talked about, at least in the board chat, is what is another location that we want to put those couple planters that we had sort of designated for that area, because now we've freed them up and now we can put them someplace else, which will be good. So that's something to think about for another space that, in terms of where it's the crossroad between traffic calming and beautification kind of. And also, yeah, we also need to talk about, like, we have the plan, so now we just need to, like, we just literally just need to set up with CBCBD and be like, okay, this is the day we wanna do it.
it depends on where we put it, there's a placemaking.
Well, we don't need the place making because we're not putting them in the roadway.
Not yet.
Not yet,
Right.
so we don't need to do that, so we can move the
So we have to
planters
check
on
some-
the sidewalk, that's what we want.
There are some sidewalk issues, we'll have to double check. I think narrower sidewalks are out.
Yeah, that's, we didn't choose any.
Yeah, as long as the sidewalk is wide enough, I think.
That's what we,
Yeah.
sorry. That's why I'm like, we can move them because we.
Yeah.
How many
Do it.
spare do we have now?
Three
because of
lots.
the new tree pits? How many planters does that free up?
2 extra, 4 extra? Well,
We did talk about actually putting, MJ had mentioned putting them in the 26th Street Park, the
Yeah,
26th
we could
Street
do
Park,
Yes,
as something,
Yeah.
if we're gonna fence it, if it's gonna be inaccessible, it might as well look nice when people walk past.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But,
Whatever happened to the planters you say you're gonna put down, pots?
yeah, that's what we're talking about,
You said you had about, what, 14, right?
I think 14, there are 14 available, if somebody else says they want, from one of the other neighborhoods, want some, they'll probably get some of them, but at this point, there are as many as we can get, up to 14, if we get them first, we'll get them,
yeah.
we just gotta have places to put them.
Yeah, and we had created, or I had kindly created a map of we did a little walk, a group of the board members to just kind of scout areas that we thought would be good, and then made a little map of them. They would be in the last month's notes. So if you wanna take a look at that, but, one of the places that we were gonna do, we don't need it now. But, which is exciting, because more tree pits on 29th is good.
Yeah, they look great, they're like big and wide,
Yeah.
and
Yay.
it's a huge sidewalk, so it'll really make a
Yeah,
difference.
do some gorilla flower planting there. But, yeah, so now, Yeah, and one of the things we talked about, like, on this planter group walk was to basically be like, okay, now we've got some spots, and there's places that we don't need to talk to anybody about getting their agreement, because we wanna make some action happen. So that's why I'm like, our next step is to, look at equipment, or talk to Rob about using some equipment or
We
something.
could look at like something on like 27th and Greenmount, like over.
We have 4 planned there on the map, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, cause that's like where clearly a car has gone and like hit the side of that.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say our next step is basically just coordinating what equipment do we
Yeah.
need, and
Yeah.
how do we need to talk to CBD.
It's just how big and heavy they are, like, we just need to figure out like where that, like, the means to move them is coming
Yeah, I
from.
mean, we could probably,
Peter's forklift certified.
Yeah,
we
You
could
are?
probably get a skid
I was
steer.
like, who is?
yeah, and like what day and everything like that, cause also they need to tell us which ones we're.
Yeah.
And I think if we're not gonna put the ones by Barclay, we should just make a decision about, the other ones that are close to, nearby.
Yeah.
So if they make a concentrated impact, or they're at like an adjacent intersection,
Yeah,
that could be used for traffic calming, there's plenty of options.
yeah, I agree, the 27th one seems to be, those are also the easiest ones considering going into.
Okay. That's what I want to do. Yes, yes.
Yes. Cool, okay, so, Isaac, do you wanna name check
To,
that again to CBCD?
yeah, no, I can,
And also, Chris Black, who helped with the trees, so he
Mhm.
might be able to help move the stuff. So.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Ew,
Oh,
that's a
put
good,
him,
yeah.
put him on that email, yes.
yeah, to see if they're the,
The company he works for.
forklift or
I
something.
was gonna say, cause also like, yeah, all the construction people.
Okay, yeah, alright, cool. Pull in some favors. Nobody owes us favors, but.
Small thing, because we really spoke about trees, I did, if anyone's noticed that there's still tree pits in and around Harwood that are uncut and there's no trees in them yet, uncut or there's no trees in them yet, they did say they're gonna be coming back in the next, like, 2-3 weeks to finish all the tree pits and put trees in them, so if you see like a marked out spot that's still marked out, then that's why.
Cool, that's very exciting.
Maybe, more trees. So the last item on the agenda here is, 26th Street Green, progress and next steps. I don't know if we need the deck here for that.
No, I think that was just, yeah, that's mostly being handled by the 26th Street Green. There were just some questions about how how CSX was gonna handle one of the cuts on the sidewalk. Makes it a little inaccessible for bikes coming from one of the directions. It's just like a weird design thing. It's not a big deal, but we haven't heard any updates. I think that is it for the agenda
Yes,
items.
everything on the agenda. I don't know if other folks had things they wanted to discuss, bring up.
I have a small thing. It's the Carolette stuff. Can I talk about that briefly? Cause I have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so, for anyone who doesn't know, on the 2700 block of Boone Street, so that's a side street that's like one east of Greenmount, in 27. There's a big empty lot that's 2701 through 9, so it's like 5 lots where row homes used to be all in a row. It's a big empty dirt lot. Or late last year, I decided that, that side of the community would probably appreciate like a little bit of green space. So, we got a care lot and we just got approved for that. So we don't have a lot of money, but we have a little bit of money. And, part of that budget is for paying someone to take care of that space a little bit, basically just like do a little weeding and watering if it needs it. So right now it's just me and my neighbors, but if anyone like really wants to like have like a little something on the side, I can actually pay you. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, check out the park. Crickets
Wait, how did you do this? How was this process?
applied for the care lot.
Oh, care a lot, I thought you
Oh.
said Carol.
Oh, no, yeah, it's a care lot. So the city, there's an application with the city, you can apply and they'll let you steward a piece of land that's basically just like taking care of it, making sure it's nice. Can't build anything on it, but, it's just meant to like take it, you know.
What is the difference between that and adopt a lot?
I believe adopt a lot is more intensive and like you can do more things. Care lot's just like maintenance.
Yeah. So if you have an empty lot next to your house and you have to weed whack it every other week anyway, you can apply for a care lot grant and the city will, it's not much, but if you have like a gas powered weed whacker or a lawnmower, it would at least certainly cover the cost of the gas and an hour of your time.
Yeah.
Adopt a lot means you're actually maintaining and you can plant flowers, you can put a bench in, you can make it more of a community space. Care lot is just to like, just getting compensated to do the basic minimum to make it less appealing for people to throw their trash and for, you know, rats to set up permanent habitation and things like that.
Right.
Didn't the garden start out as an adopt a lot?
The garden technically still is, two of the lots, but we're very close to signing the final paperwork, for the Baltimore Green Space, which is where Baltimore Green Space acquires the space and puts it in a permanent trust, so that those empty lots can't just be purchased by an investor at some point from like an absentee landlord. So, it'll take months still, but
Months from years.
yeah, it's been a 2-year process at this point.
And then we're putting that application together.
So we're very,
That's exciting. Any other topics, things anybody wanted to bring up or discuss?
The CBCBD spring meeting is this Saturday here from 1 to 3 p.m. They're gonna be talking about, things happening in Charles Village, Greater Charles Village, which we are part of, and about their budget and stuff. So that's here this Saturday, 1 p.m.
Anything else?
Yeah, and I'll be there.
And then I'll be there.
Okay, I guess that is everything for this evening. You can always, reach out to Isaac or other, members of the board if anything comes up. Adam's got various different pieces of paper and things. You find out how to get on the WhatsApp, how to pay your dues, how to do all the things. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming this evening. Really, really appreciate it. Tell your friends we have these once a month, they're usually the first Monday of every month. So yeah, you come back.
Thanks.
there's tea and coffee and hot
Yes.
chocolate.
And snacks. Please take as many snacks as you like, honestly. Unless I have to carry home.
Thank you for your
Unless I don't bring snacks. Well,
So you should be.
Have another good
I'll bring
day.
it.
That's what I'm here to do.
the less candy and cookies I have at home, the better, honestly.
The amount of Easter candy I have in my house. And every 10 minutes, Bentley's like, can I have this? And I'm like, you have eaten so much candy today. No.
It's a lot of sugar. It's kind of terrifying.
Bentley is exceptional.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're okay. If anyone has additional questions, just email info@harwoodcommunity.com and we'll answer your questions. Thanks for coming.
Make it to go.
Yes, I need some more. Oh, there's honey.
Yeah.